Welcome to Tech News Briefing. It's Thursday, August 10th. I'm Zoe Thomas for The Wall Street Journal. OpenAI's ChatGPT has taken the world by storm since it was made available to the public last November. But the updated version, GPT-4, has actually gotten worse at some basic skills, according to an investigation by researchers at Stanford University and the University of California, Berkeley. One area where the program seems to have slipped over time is math. Our columnist Josh Zumbrun joins us with more about this. Josh, tell us about this research.
They give it a handful of different tests. One of the tests is fairly basic, is they just ask it, is 17,077 a prime number? Which is an interesting problem because when you get into larger prime numbers, it's really easy to verify once you know the answer, but it's a little bit tricky to figure out. And what they found is that between March and June, GPT-4 got significantly worse at this type of problem. And then they're doing things that aren't even strictly math related, like they ask it a bunch of medical questions that are on the U.S. medical licensing exam, and it's doing worse at those too.
So what do researchers think is going on?
There's this phenomenon that researchers who study AI have discovered. They call it drift. The idea here is that these are really complicated models that are doing a lot of different things. Like it can write a news story in the style of William Shakespeare. And so they're trying to improve its performance across a wide range of tasks. And what happens is you target one area of it that you're trying to improve, and you inadvertently make other areas worse.
Can you explain that? How did that happen?
First of all, we should be clear that I don't think anyone has a total handle on why the changes are making it worse on math, but the researchers have a hunch. And so one of the techniques that was discovered early on with AI was that if you asked the AI to explain its work, if you asked it to spell out the process to solving a math problem, it would tend to be more accurate than if you asked it to just give you the result. And so one of the reasons that you might have a change in safety affect a change in math is that one of the things they're trying to do for safety reasons is they're trying to stop the AI from responding to inappropriate queries. They're trying to stop it from giving offensive responses. And sometimes you avoid those sort of things by not engaging with certain questions as much or by giving much briefer responses to certain questions. And like I said, I want to emphasize that we don't know exactly what's going on inside the model. But one of the things the researchers think could be happening is that you're making these changes for like a safety reason, and you end up making it so you give a shorter response to a math question as well. And when you give the shorter response to that math question and don't show your work, you end up mucking it up along the way.
Has OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT and GPT-4, said anything about this?
The response they gave me, the response they've given in public a couple of times when people have said, this model seems to be getting worse, is that they've said that their priority is to make their newer model smarter across the board. So this isn't intentional that they're making the math worse as they make something else better. They're trying to make it better at a comprehensive range of tasks. But they acknowledge that the evaluation methodology isn't perfect and they're trying to improve it too.
Is this just a chatbot thing, or is this something that could apply throughout the artificial intelligence industry?
No, I mean, it's just something that the researchers in Stanford and Berkeley who are doing this study had previously documented this. Even with machine learning, this is an issue. The machine learning algorithms are similarly very complicated, and you try to fix one aspect of the model and you inadvertently make another model worse. Now, the thing the researchers said to me is that they've been studying this in other models, and they would see the performance of the model drift over a matter of years. And the thing that surprised them about ChatGPT is that it was just 3 months between the two versions that they tested, and they saw huge shifts in just those 3 months.
What does that mean for future generative AI tools, particularly as more companies look to integrate them into their own workflows?
Well, the researchers' takeaway is that if businesses are using these kinds of things, they really need to have a system in place to monitor the performance over time and figure out how the model evolves over time. It's very different than most computer software. You think about something like Excel. Like if Excel is very good at a task now, you can feel very confident that you're going to be able to use Excel to do that task a year from now. And they're saying that AI is not like this right now, that just because you can do something with AI now, it doesn't mean that the version 3 or 6 months from now will still be doing that task. Big picture, it means that this isn't going to just advance in a straight line. This is going to be zigzagging all over the place.
This is early days for the technology. I mean, is that part of the problem? It just hasn't been fully developed yet, and once it is, we maybe won't have such a zigzaggy course for it?
The researchers think this is a really difficult and fundamental challenge to these types of complex models that are trying to do hundreds of different tasks, right? And so it could be something that it's kind of a fact of AI that we have to learn how to live with and how to adapt to.
So just because it's losing some of its knowledge doesn't mean it's less intelligent than when it first started?
Not necessarily. The metaphor is it takes one step forward and then it takes one step in who knows what direction. But the point is, over time, it's still taking more steps forward.
All right, our columnist Josh Zumbrun writes the numbers column for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for joining us, Josh.
Thanks so much for having me.
And that's it for today's Tech News Briefing. For more tech stories, head over to our website, WSJ.com. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening.